Hi, Algebra 1 students. Today we are back to Algebra 1, video number 4, and this is lesson 1-4, the distributive property. So some vocabulary words we'll be looking at in this video lesson include like terms, simplest form, coefficient, the distributive property. For any numbers A, B, and C, if we have A open parentheses, B plus C, that's equal to A times B, which is AB, plus A times C, which is AC. Or we can have the ordering backwards, if you will, the B plus C in parentheses first, followed by the A. And if we distribute there, B times A would be BA plus C times A, which is CA. And then right below it, notice that if the symbol in between the B and the C is a minus, the only thing that's different is in between our two products, AB and AC, is the minus. So if we look at some examples with numbers, 3 open parentheses, 2 plus 5, using the distributive property, that would equal 3 times 2 plus 3 times 5. And now just to verify that it's true, if we work out 2 plus 5 using the order of operations, that's 7, and 3 times 7 is 21. If we do the right side of the equals, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 5 is 15, 6 plus 15 is 21, which gives us a true statement. Let's work out an example problem. So Suzanne walks to school and home from school 5 days a week. She walks to school in 15 minutes, but then she walks home in 10 minutes. So if we rewrite this, 5 because she's going to school and coming home from school 5 days a week, so 5 and then open parentheses, 15 minutes to go to school plus, and then 10 minutes to go from school to home. So if we rewrite this using the distributive property, we can take 5 times 15 plus 5 times 10. And then if we work that out, 5 times 15 is 75, and 5 times 10 is 50. 75 plus 50 is 125 minutes. Notice that if we chose to do the addition first, 15 plus 10 is 25, and 5 times 25 is 125 as well. Let's take a look at another way to write 12 times 82. We could certainly do that longhand through multiplication. We probably did that back in elementary school, but it's easy to mess that up unless we have a calculator. So we could rewrite this as 12 being 10 plus 2 times 82. Now the reason we would want to do that is because it's fairly easy to multiply 10 times 82, and it's fairly easy to do 2 times 82. 10 times 82 is 820, 2 times 82 is 164. Now if we add those two numbers, we get 984. And if you multiply 12 times 82 the long way, you will also get 984. So doing a similar method, let's rewrite 6 times 54. And so to do that, we're going to write 54 as 50 plus 4. Now if we use the distributive property, 6 times 50, and then 6 times 4. 6 times 50 turns out to be 300. 6 times 4 comes out to be 24. And if we add that, we get 324. So the correct answer choice that goes with this is letter C. Let's use the distributive property to simplify 6 open parentheses x minus 4. So we have to do the first multiplication, 6 times x, minus the second multiplication, 6 times 4. And if we simplify there, 6 times x turns out to be 6x. 6 times 4 is 24. And that answer choice is letter B. Let's simplify 3 open parentheses, x cubed plus 2x squared minus 5x plus 7. Again, we're going to do this using the distributive property. So we have 4 different multiplications to do. 3 times x cubed plus 3 times 2x squared minus 3 times 5x, and then plus 3 times 7. And if we do that, 3 times x cubed comes out to be 3x cubed. 3 times 2x squared comes out to be 6x squared. 3 times 5x is 15x. And then 3 times 7 is 21. And that answer choice is letter C. Simplify 14x minus 9x. We're going to do this a couple different methods. Method 1, we'll call this one factoring, or if you will, it's like doing the reverse chain rule. So we can see that these two terms, 14x and 9x, they have an x in common. So what we're going to do with that x is we're going to factor it out on the right side. And if we factor the x out on the right side, the first term will still have a 14, and then the second term will still have a 9. Now by doing that, we can simplify 14 minus 9 is a 5. Now 5 times x is 5x. There is a second method which we will call collecting or combining like terms. 14x and 9x are like terms since both terms have an x. So we can combine them or collect them, whichever verb you like better. And so 14x minus 9x will simplify to 5x. So both methods gave us the answer of 5x, which was letter D. Simplify 6n squared plus 7n plus 8n. We're going to use the second method this time, which is the collect like terms method. And so the 7n and the 8n are like terms. So we can combine them. 7n plus 8n is 15n. And we have our final answer of 6n squared plus 15n, which turns out to be letter A. Use the expression 3 times the difference of 2x and y increased by 2 times the sum of 4x and y. So this is reviewing some information we've had in previous lessons. So the important words are underlined in green here. So 3 times 2x minus y plus 2 times 4x plus y. Let's see why this comes out to be. We see the verb times, and so we put the raised dot for that symbol 3 times and also 2 times. Notice that we are multiplying 3 by something that has 2 terms, so we have to use parentheses. And the same thing with the 2, it's being multiplied by something that has 2 terms. So we use parentheses. We see the word difference, so that means a subtraction. And we see the word sum, which means an addition. And we notice that for the difference, the first term was a 2x, so that went before the minus. The second term was a y, that was after the word and, so that followed the subtraction symbol. And the same thing with the sum. The sum had 2 things that were being added. A 4x was listed first, so that went first, and the y was listed second. And now if we rewrite this without the raised dot symbol for multiplication, we get the answer choice that looks very much like letter B. Now let's use that expression and let's simplify it using the distributive property. So we'll take 3 times 2x minus 3 times y plus 2 times 4x plus 2 times y. Now from there, if we do the multiplication, 3 times 2x is 6x, 3 times y is 3y, 2 times 4x is 8x, and 2 times y is 2y. Now we're not quite finished yet. We still need to collect like terms. 6x and 8x are like terms. They both contain x. 3y and 2y are like terms. They both contain y. So if we collect those like terms, the two terms that have x underlined in green, 6x plus 8x makes 14x. The two terms underlined in purple, minus 3y and 2y combine to make minus 1y. Notice that we don't have to put the coefficient of 1 in front of the y. When it's a 1, we always assume it to be a 1, so we don't have to put it. So that usually is simplified to be 14x minus y, and that is letter C. And now to summarize some important properties of real numbers that we've been working at for the last couple lessons. Remember, we have the commutative property, which holds for addition and multiplication, and that basically says that the order that you add two numbers or that you multiply two numbers or expressions doesn't matter. The associative property holds again for addition and for multiplication. So notice that the ordering is the same, but what's different is where we're putting the grouping symbols. Doesn't matter which grouping symbols you put the parentheses around, we will always get the same answer. Then we have some identities. The additive identity is 0, because if you add 0 to any number, you always keep that number the same. And 1 is the multiplicative or multiplication identity, because when you multiply by 1, that number stays the same. You have the 0 multiplication property, which means if you multiply by 0, you will always get 0. We have the distributive property, which is what this lesson was about. And that completes lesson 1.4, which is the distributive property. So good luck with your homework assignment, and we'll see you next time for lesson 1-5. Bye-bye, everybody.